2019. Well, here we are, Christmas Day 2019. So it's actually an awesome year for us because, as most of you know, that my son got out in June. So this is our first Christmas together, and we are having a really good time. We had Christmas Eve last night, and he's with his, what would you call her, fiance, wife? They've been together for many, many years, so I thought I would go live while we're getting ready because I know that a lot of you, today is a devastating day. It's not a good day. You're sad, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're hopeless, you're helpless, I know. Trust me, I know. My son's dad was in and out and I don't tell you this for you to, for me to compare it whatsoever. I tell you this to let you know that I know. Yes, you guys, I got to put my makeup on while we're going live because I've got to get ready. But I know that it is a desperate feeling to have your loved one incarcerated. It was my son this last time, and then the 32 years prior to that, it was his dad, in and out, mostly in, and, multiple friends, multiple other family members. So I get it. I totally get it. Oh, that stuff feels so good on my face. Wow. With us traveling right now, because we are traveling, we live in West Virginia, but my son got out here in Texas, and this is where we're from. And so we're back for a week, 8 days here at Christmas. And, you guys, I always have a hard time going back when I leave because I moved to West Virginia 4 years ago. A lot of people would say we're crazy, but God basically wanted us in Elkins, West Virginia. And so I moved there, and I would love more than anything to be back here. But I know God always tells me I have to stay put for now. Okay. I won't have to stay put forever. I know I won't. I know we will be back in our home of Texas one day, but it won't be this day. It won't be probably any time within the next few years. But I know it's because God says we go where he sends us and we will be blessed. And that's what we did. And it's hard for a lot of people to grasp. A lot of people will say, oh, I could never do that. I could never leave my grandkids. I could never leave my kids. But when you are supposed to be obedient to get blessings, you have to. There's really not a choice in the matter. So anyway, so yes, I am putting on my makeup while I'm talking to y'all today, but and I also don't have any blush, so I'm using eyeshadow for blush. So I know that, and I know that it's a hard time for most of you, if not all of you that come across this video, because we feel guilty. We feel guilty if we're having a good day. We feel like that empty chair is the significance of the whole day. Nothing's ever going to be the same. And you know what? I found out yesterday we're wrong, because for the last 6 years, my sister's house has been like barely anybody on Christmas. And there's usually about 20, 22, 24 of us. And it dwindled down because I wasn't coming home for Christmas right at Christmas anymore. I was coming home around there, but I wasn't coming home right on there because to travel around Christmas is very expensive for the airfare part. So, we weren't there. That's 4. My son and his, wife weren't there. That's 2. You lose 6, and then my cousins quit going, and it just became, and I looked around yesterday and I said to my sister, I said, look at this. We're all together again. Did you think that your house would, be this full again? And she said, that's great, So I just want to tell y'all right now, today, you feel desperate and you feel sad and you feel all the above, but it will go back to normal. And you might say, well, my loved one's going to be there 20 years, 25 years, life, life without parole, death row, whatever it is. You guys, I've seen them all. I've seen them all change. I've seen laws change that go retroactive, which means they go back. I've seen things that they would have never thought. First Step Act in the federal system, it's starting to be implemented. So don't ever lose hope. And I look around now and I go, man, my son's home. You know, the thing that we longed for all that time. Here it is. You know, I do have to go back very far away, but you know what? Like I said, we have a ministry there, and right now, you know, those people in the Appalachian Mountains need us. Those students that I'm teaching need us. You know, so that's the way I got to look at it. So, yeah. So I just want you guys to know, you know, seasons change in your life all the time, and you just got to learn to go with what's going on in that season. And so, you know, I just was thinking about it when I was in the shower, and I was like, gosh, you know, I know how a lot of people just feel like today is the worst day ever, and it's not. Make it a positive, and, you know, have a good time for the kids that are at the house or the family that you are going to see. Nobody, honestly, you guys, nobody wants to sit and listen to you dwell, oh, you know, so-and-so's in prison. And I know, you know, most of them get a meal today, okay? Unless they're just in some super high max, they might not, but most get some type of a meal today. Most, you know, they're surrounded by others, and if not, then we've got to have faith that they're using the time that they are. If it's a very bad time, or maybe they're in the hole or something like that. You know, it's just not. It's not what we would want for them, you know, but we've got to think of it. With my son, he said that's like almost the best thing that could happen to him when he was in the hole for those 89 days, because you really learn to have one-on-one, and you really learn to figure out then what you know, really want to do in your life. And if the hole, after being in the hole, you know, for days and days and days doesn't change somebody, you guys, I'm sorry. And I'm not saying we should ever give up on our loved ones, but we can't give up on life, because I have a friend who both of her sons were in when my son went in, and she gave up on life. She had a heart attack and she was in her 40s. But both of her sons were looking at a very long time in prison, and she could not deal with that. And so, I just want y'all to know, you can't stop your life because your loved one is incarcerated. And a lot of you have other children, and you have other loved ones and other people that love you. And maybe you're in another situation. Maybe you're you're addicted, and today, you know you're going to go off your rails. Call somebody. I had somebody call me just the other day that was suicidal. By the time we got done talking, we talked for a while. You know, he went into a center. There's help out there, but don't let it defeat you, okay? You know, yeah, yes, Colleen. And I just have to remember that, because let me tell you guys, it's hard. I'm leaving in 2 days. Anyway, it's Christmas, so I'm not going to go there, but I have to remember that God's got me in the Appalachian Mountains right now. You know what I mean? And my other two younger children, they might not see it now, and I might talk, you know, oh, but it's better for them. And it's beautiful there. And if, you know, when God's ready to move us back to Texas, he will. But right now, my kids are going to school, and I would never take them out of school. And you guys have to know that you have to go with, you're either all in or not. And I'll have people who are, you know, believers, and they have faith and they have hope. But then they say to me, I just can't imagine that you could move that far away from your grandkids. And I'm like, you don't understand. The way that it happened for us to get to the mountains couldn't have been anything else but God, okay? A lot of you guys that watch my lives know I live in a most beautiful home you can ever imagine. And I know your materialism is not, because trust me, my couches are old, my chairs are old. It has nothing to do with that, but I get to raise my children in a beautiful home that there's no way if I was here in Texas that I could have even come close to affording a home like this. There's no way it would be as secluded as it is. There's no way that it would have helped me with my own anxiety. There's no way that we would see what different cultures are like, even within our own United States. There's no way that I would have the opportunity to help, Appalachian. And when I say Appalachian, you guys do your research, because you can't imagine what some of the people that we work with go through. We think, some of these people are homeless under a bridge in the mountains. And I know that God has us there. So that's what keeps me going. My kids keep me going. My husband keeps me going. And you just have to find your, whatever it is, you're either all in or you're not. You're willing to go 1,288 miles away if that's what God calls you to do, and sets it up exactly like it should be, and everything just falls right into place, and you are in a 4,000 square foot beautiful home made of stone and Murray chestnut in a neighborhood that's beautiful, with neighbors, a couple of neighbors that I know God sent in our lives as well. You know what, you guys, that's how you have to live your life. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that, if not all the time, because I always go, I want to go back home. And then my own mother tells me, Jody, God has you in West Virginia now for a reason. He has the kids in West Virginia for a reason. There's seasons. That doesn't mean things won't go back to, your what you feel like is your normalcy. So always have faith, always trust, always have hope. That's what I'm going into 2020, is with hope of a good year, and seeking God and looking up things, and I'm going to write some things, and I hope that you guys are a part of it, because I'm going to be going live more. Even though I teach school, I will be going live more, because that's what we all need. We need encouragement from each other. And, that's just, and you know what? And they keep me too, because God just showed me literally last night, you haven't grown enough. You got to go back, and you got to seek me and sit, because I can sit there with no distractions, because y'all see me go live. I have a sunroom that's backed up into a forest, and here in the city, it's amazing. It's awesome. I love it. This is where I'm from. I love to go to the mall. I love to go to Target. I love to run down the street. I love to, have all the amenities. I love to have everything at my fingertips, but that's not what God wants me to have in my life yet. So, he even showed me while I'm here, you got to go back and seek me more. Maybe you were seeking me once a day. Now you got to seek me 5 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the time that I'm supposed to be growing in my knowledge, which I do, but it's still just not enough. So I'm going back. I'm going back positive. I'm going back opening up that Bible even more, no matter how much I teach school. And I'm going back with a better understanding of what's needed there. I am here with my son, with my daughter. I'm in my daughter's house right now. She's not even here. She went to go have dinner with her dad and with her kids, but it doesn't matter. Just being here with family, I am so thankful, so thankful. There's loved ones that don't even get to go back and see their loved ones. And I just say, keep your faith, because it won't always be that way if you keep your faith. But if you give up and you go, I know, you meet those people that go, well, it's to be expected. Everything in my life just is crap, or, something bad happens to them. They're like, well, that's about my luck. You can speak those things into existence, because I used to do it. My life used to be like my car would be broke down all the time. I'd have flats. Now, you know what? We got to the airport last year after this trip, and our car was dead, and it was way out in parking. And instead of getting freaked out, I just said, God, work this out for us. I have faith that you're going to work this out for us. You're going to work this out. I was frustrated, of course, because that's normal. And you know what? My husband went on and got these 2 guys that work there. Of course they want money, but we didn't have any to give them a tip. But boom, came back, 15 minutes later. And so you got to believe that way, because it's going to be better if you believe it, positively. So anyway, so we are getting ready, and we are going to go see my son again today. And I'm going to stay at his house the next couple of nights. Which will be, it'll be awesome. I've got to, I've got to stay at my daughter's. My grandkids are here, and I got to share my time with all of them. I'll be back maybe at spring break. If not spring break, I'll definitely be back here in June. So anyway, I just want, if you come across this later, please go to the beginning. I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. I love each and every one of you. I've been there. Your day is coming. Your day when that chair is not empty anymore is coming. Okay. It might be next year. It might be the next year. It might be 10 years. But guys, this time goes by like this. I just turned 50 years old, and just the thought of that is unbelievable. So I get it. Okay. I get it. Right now, it seems like it's never going to be over, but it will. It definitely will. So I just wanted to go live and tell each and every one of you incarcerated loved ones, Christmas 2019, hang in there, keep your faith, keep your hope, keep your love. Don't get bitter in here. Do what you got to do. Stay positive for the other ones that you're around today, the kids. Don't, everybody shouldn't have to be in prison because the ones that we love are in prison, but we put ourselves. You ever heard that? I'll never forget. And you know what? When I hang up with y'all, I'm going to listen to it. Creed, my own prison. I'll never forget. I was visiting my son's dad, and he, this has been years ago now, and he said, have you ever heard that song, Creed, my own prison? And I was like, no. Well, then I got access to the song, and I played the song over and over and over and over, because maybe I'll do the next video to that song, because we create our own prisons. Even though it's hurtful and it's heartful, sometimes in our mind, we just create such a prison. And then they call home and they're laughing on the other end and they're cutting up with their friends, and not saying that they're happy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they're making the best of it. But we're on this side of the wire. As I have a book. The very first book that I published was Locked Up, Both Sides of the Wire. Jody Rose, if you want to look it up on Amazon. But it is, get the edited edition if you do look it up, though, because it's got artwork in it and stuff. But it's got writings and poetry and art and stuff from loved ones, and then loved ones of the incarcerated and the incarcerated themselves. And, they write poetry. It's just that sometimes we create our own prison. Okay. So don't do that this Christmas. Don't sit there and congregate up in your mind how they feel today, because you don't really honestly know how they feel today. And you guys, you know what? My son, it changed his life, and he never wants to go back to a life of crime. And even if we save 1 out of 100 that, end up not ever going back, not recidivism, it's very easy to, but it's very hard to not a recidivist, going back. And people ask me, what is your son's secret? What is he doing to do so good? How does he already have a car? You know what? My son is just that way. That's just the way my son is. My son he can be a legit hustler, and he sees that now. And yes, he does credit repair, and he's doing great. And not everybody's going to do that, but because he sat there and he sat there and he sat there, and he just thought about what he didn't want his life to be. So, just be there, be supportive for the others, but don't create our own prisons in our mind. Yeah, I'm telling you, and I do different lives. I'm not saying that, my lives are going to save you, but I've got knowledge in this, you guys. Unfortunately, I've got knowledge. I've got book knowledge. I got my bachelor's. Somebody asked me, they said, are you going to still do this when your son gets out? And I'm like, I got my Bachelor of Science in 1999. You know what I'm saying? This was a passion of mine way before. My son was born in 85. So my son was like 14 years old whenever I got it. He was way, you know what I mean? It wasn't, never, ever had committed a crime. I will do this until the day I die. Criminal justice reform, criminal justice advocacy, criminal justice, it is my heart and my soul, and I have knowledge in this. And so I don't try to act like an expert, but unfortunately I am an expert at this, because not only do I have a Bachelor of Science in this and a Master's of Higher Education with all my classes under sociology and criminal justice, a lot of advocacy work, work at a lawyer's office, work in prisons, work in jails, volunteers. My internship was at Texas Workforce Commission with the Incarcerated, the first program ever that Texas Workforce in Texas had for the incarcerated. It was called Project Rio. This was in 98. So what I'm saying is, and all the years that I've been visiting, I am an expert at this. So I say from my heart, I know how you feel. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go because I don't want to drag on and on and on. And you guys try to have a good Christmas, and remember, tomorrow is a new day. Okay, and if not anything, remember it's 1 year closer, one Christmas closer. Peace out.